So in this store, I got 9 items going out for a little bit over 167 bucks. So 4 items, about 104 in this store. And in this store, 14 items for 376. Alright, y'all, so welcome back to another video. It's Thursday. I got about 30 items to ship. And so I'm starting off. I'm looking for an LL Bean. It's a button-up flannel. It's in 0996. It's gonna be somewhere in here. Yesterday I was in Nashville. Day before that, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's a pretty busy day there, and still found about the same amount of stuff that I usually find. But it's nice to be back home today. It's raining outside, so it was actually thundering last night, so that provided some great sleep. But this is an LL Bean. Like a button-up flannel. I picked it up at the bins probably about 45 days or so ago, and it sold for $14 plus shipping. Something like this probably cost at most $1.50. So I don't know if I'll be able to show you guys every single item because the postman usually comes early on Thursday. I know he's really late on Monday because it's the weekend, and I'm sure he has a lot of stuff to pick up on Mondays. But Thursdays, it seems like his week kind of levels out, and he tends to come earliest, which is kind of good and bad for me. Good in the sense where he picks the stuff up quick, but bad in the sense where I need to get out here and get moving quickly. And so this is just some Tennessee Volunteer starter pajama pants, and somebody will probably look at this and say, man, I'm not gonna pick up pajama pants. But these pajama pants, starter in general, especially for like college, NFL, they tend to sell pretty good. Something like this, I just picked these up last week or the week before, so I haven't had them long, and I got 17 plus $8.99 shipping. I usually charge $8.99 flat rate shipping across the board, unless it's like maybe a lightweight t-shirt, but even then, in that case, it's $7.99. But $8.99 it's like my standard flat rate shipping across the board for most of my items, unless it's like lighter shirts or sneakers. A lot of times I'll charge like $9.99. But 17 plus the $8.99 shipping under 2 weeks for the sale, and these probably cost probably no more than like $1.50 as well. So if you watched the last video, you probably seen me set up this shelf right here, which is good to have it put up, but now it's kind of messed up the functionality on kind of how I used to be able to cut through. And so I know I need to get this section here moved quickly, otherwise it's just going to create just a hindrance on being able to kind of move around in here. And so I'm coming up with a strategy to where I think the biggest hang up for me as far as getting these items moved over, it's a lot of times it takes an hour and a half just to move one bin. So I think I'm gonna set a goal to every single day at least try to get at least one box filled up. A lot of times that's 20 to 25 items. I feel like that's manageable, and I feel like it's motivating to do that versus sometimes you may not have an hour and a half to move one of these bins, so you don't do it at all. And so that's kind of stalled the process. So that's my strategy going forward. We'll kind of see how it goes. I think this item is in 2091. It's a pair of Duluth Trading cargo shorts. Duluth Trading cargo shorts for women and men tend to sell really good for me. I picked these up last week, so it's a pretty quick sale. I had them priced at $24.99. Someone sent an offer for 20 or 21, and so pretty quick sale. So 20 to 21 on the sale price plus the $8.99 shipping. Something like this probably cost no more than $1. So just in the last week alone, man, I've been selling college football jerseys a million miles per hour. It seems like every single day one of them starts to sell. For me personally, college football, that's my sport. Growing up, I was a big NFL fan, but now college football is my #1 main sport. Cannot wait until the season starts. But I digress. I'm looking for a Tennessee Volunteer. I sold this same jersey, but in a size small or medium for boys. This is for a toddler, like a toddler 4T. So I know a lot of moms and dads are getting their jerseys ready for their kids for the football season. And I'm not sure if you kind of been watching. These used to be in my wardrobe box against the back wall, but obviously I needed the back wall for the shelving. So a lot of the jerseys inside of these bags. I have no idea which bag it's in, so I'm gonna figure it out, and then I'll kind of let y'all know where it was. So to my surprise, it didn't really take long because I got lucky. It was in the first bag that I looked through right here, and it's just basically, this isn't branded or anything. So I've sold quite a bit of Rival Threads 91. A lot of people will look at that and just kind of toss it back as trash. But if you've been kind of following, when it comes to sports, the brand doesn't really matter when it comes to jerseys and t-shirts, because a lot of times people just want they just want their school colors, and so it doesn't really matter if it's Nike, Adidas, or whatever. I picked this one up at the bins. It was probably in the winter time, and it also had a small stain right by the right number, the 8. So I don't know if you can see that just right there. Nothing major, but something like that isn't going to hinder a sale. This one basically sold for $11, and I'm not sure what the shipping was on this one. I don't think it was $8.99. It was probably $6.99 or $7.99. Probably only 50 cents on the buy cost. All right, so we're basically towards the end of August, and for me personally, I feel like my sales are back where they were before the summer slowdown hit. I'm consistently selling somewhere between 20 to 30 items each day. That's kind of where I've been for a while. I mean, I had some weeks. July was probably the worst month for me. I don't know what the total numbers are. I haven't really, I don't know off the top of my head, but it just felt like it was the worst out of, I guess, the summer months, as far as if you want to count the end of May, June, and then August for me. I haven't looked at the numbers, but it seems like it's been back on cue with selling the normal quantity of the items that I do. So hopefully everything's starting to pick back up for you guys as well. So I'm looking for, I think it's, let me get this pulled out. Yeah, looking for 2246. It's just a basic pair of Under Armour golf shorts. This was a pretty quick sale. I picked these up last week, and so I think they sold this morning for $15 plus the $8.99 shipping. So this is a Bucky swim top. I sell Bucky stuff all the time. Usually you can pick it up for 25-50 cents if you're talking like a swim top or a t-shirt. I even sell the sweatshirts as well. Usually those are between $2 to $3, but I do pick those up as well. Usually they don't sell for a ton of money, but they do move fairly quickly. Something like this probably costs 25 cents, and it sold for $8 plus shipping. So I got some BKE jeans in number 400. They were behind me on the bottom shelf. These are, I want to say, these probably cost about maybe $2 to $3 on the buy cost, and they sold this morning for $20 plus the $9.99 shipping. So sometimes I start rambling and I forget to tell you how much the item costs. So if I don't specify, the item more than likely came from the bins, and so you can kind of put somewhere between 50 cents and then maybe like $2 to $3 if it's shoes or a sweatshirt. But I try to put that in here as far as what I think the item cost, but in case I forget, just FYI. So these are some American Eagle dress pants or chino pants. They were in 1880. This was a Goodwill Bins pickup. Something like this probably cost, let's just say $2, and I got 11 plus $9 shipping out of it. So if you've been following, you remember maybe the first few years on this channel, I used to be really heavy in sneakers, but not a whole lot these days. I feel like most of my items now are clothing, just from the simple fact that we moved and things just changed as far as what I can find as far as supply. I still sell sneakers, obviously, but I feel like I don't sell them nowhere near as what I was doing when I was in Oregon. And my system used to be a mess as far as the boxes. I had the boxes here, but they weren't numbered or anything, and so I had to guess which box contained the shoes that I was looking for. Just an absolute headache. But now the boxes are numbered, and it's a much easier process. I did that basically the month that I was home after my wife gave birth, and that was time well spent. So I'm looking for a pair of these Olakai sandals, and they were in box 14. It says box 14. They should be down here somewhere if I can get them. Just FYI, I picked these Crocs up here. It's in my hand from Burlington when we still lived in Oregon. If you've been a long time follower, maybe you've watched every video, you probably remember when I picked these up, because I actually vlogged that day. This was an awful buy. Probably one of the worst buys I've ever made at Burlington. I've literally had these for it seems like this is heading into the 3rd year. I can't move them. At the time that I picked them up, the comp showed that they had moving on them. But that's what I'm saying. Even when you look at sell-through rate, sometimes it's great, but sometimes it doesn't always work out. And so, I don't know. Hopefully, I can eventually move those here in the next year or two. But we'll see. So, these are the Alakai sandals. This was a Goodwill Bins pickup. I think I found these right here in Nashville. And not really sure. I can't remember. I was rambling again and forgot what these actually sold for. They probably only cost about $1.50, $2 from the bins. I'll put up on the screen what they actually sold for. So I grabbed these Brooks running sneakers right out of box 5, which is just right here. And these were a Goodwill Bins find right here in Tennessee. And they were also missing the insoles. So when I first started selling shoes, if the shoes were missing the insoles, I would almost never pick them up. But one of my old shoe buddies, when I was still reselling up in Oregon, like my first few years in the business, told me, hey man, doesn't really matter a whole lot about the insoles. You can still move them. And that was a light bulb moment, because prior to that, if no insoles meant that I didn't pick them up. And so they really don't decrease the value a whole lot. I think these may have sold for 30, maybe 35 max, but I still got $25 plus $10 shipping out of these without the insoles, and they probably only cost what, maybe $2, 3 tops. So I'm starting to sell sweatshirts and some lighter, sometimes even medium-sized jackets as people kind of get prepared for fall. So this is a North Face. It's a one snap jacket or pullover. It's also insulated, and I picked this one up from the bins. It is fairly heavy. This one's probably closer to maybe even like $4. But anyway, it sold this morning for $45 plus the $12.99 shipping. So these are some North Face cargo shorts, pretty standard size, a men's 36. I picked these up from the bins probably about a couple of months ago, and they sold for $20 plus shipping. So this is a polo 1/4 zip sweater, pullover or jacket or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, it's a men's medium, probably a little bit heavier, so it probably cost about $2, and it sold for $18 plus shipping. Alright y'all, so I got to get to work. Postman's probably going to be here in 45 minutes to an hour. I need to get everything packed up and put outside for him so when he pulls up. So this is where I'm going to cut the video off at. I appreciate y'all for coming along with me. If you got anything out of it, like it, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll catch y'all right back here on the next video. Succeed.
This might be all that I know. Think it's okay. I've got a long way to grow. At my own pace. Go the long way. No one taught me how to walk, but I figured it out fine.